Yes, so my name is Nikolaj. I'm Danish, and I've done a lot of presentations early on SMX and stuff. I come from this SEO side, and I really love to work with a lot of different SEO tools. And one of the things that I've done a lot is having this feeling when a client asks me, so can you create SEM SEO synergies? And I say yes. So that's what we do all the time. So our SEO guys and our SEM specialists, they sit together, they create this rocket spaceship, and then they create. But in reality, I've seen coming out of Group M and one of the larger media agencies networks, it's that it's not really working together. So I was sitting back and I said, so how can we try to meet up a bit more? How can we try to create more synergies than we do today? And then sort of came up with these three different things. So by incorporating SEM into SEO and by incorporating SEO into SEM, we can actually do these three different things. We can get higher quality score, thus lower prices. We can get higher CTRs, and thus again higher quality scores and lower prices. And we can create an aligned search strategy. So these are the 2 points that I'm going to present you guys with. So if we start with the higher quality score. So basically what quality score does is that Google knows that the better the result is, the lower the price you get to pay, right? So if you have a quality score of 7, you'd pay the baseline price for a specific click. And if you then move up towards 10, you would save 30% on your click. That means that if your average quality score is 7 and you move it to 10, you would save 30% on your total click spend, right? But if you then move down and say, okay, I'm targeting totally wrong keywords, then you would pay 600% more for a given keyword, right? So obviously, when you see this, you know how important quality score is for your SEM account, right? And what does actually affect quality score? So this is from Google itself. So they say expected click-through rate, landing page experience, and ad relevance. Those are the 3 different parameters we have to optimize for to increase quality score and thus decrease our spend. And the most important thing here in terms of SEO is the landing page experience, because here it's the relevance. That's actually the single most important thing in terms of SEO. And then transparency and trustworthiness, ease of navigation, encouraging visitors to spend time on your site. So basically, if we then take the what affects SEO or good rankings, I normally put it into these 4 different buckets. So you have the content part, so how well are your content optimized? So density, titles, images, stuff like that. Then you have the technical platform, so the load time, mobile friendliness, all of those technical stuff. DC, stuff like that. Then you have the authority, which is the links, the amount of links, the quality of links, the anchor text, and the distribution of links. And then finally you have the behavior. That's the what do people actually click on, the click-through rate, the time on site, and stuff like that. And then you can put these 2 algorithms, so the quality score algorithm and the SEO algorithm, down, and you can say where it overlaps is the landing page experience. So we can actually, by working with SEO, we can improve the landing page experience. And when you do that, you will thus increase quality score. So that means just by, even though you don't work together, you actually affect each other. And you all know how different the work with SEM and SEO is, right? So in SEM, you have to work with the bids, the ad content and stuff like that. In SEO, you have to work with completely different things. So I'd like to maybe the first kind of statement is that as a SEM specialist, we have to really take a responsibility on the content instead of just throwing in traffic in and setting up our ads. We also have to take responsibility of what is actually happening on the website. And I've seen so many because SEOs, we want to get our hands dirty on the website, create more content, create new pages. But PPC specialists or SEM specialists, they don't want to have anything to do with the website, even though it affects quality score that much. And I don't get that. I never get that. So we should really try to take more responsibility. And you can go back to your agency teams and tell this to the SEM specialists. So how can we do it? So let me just give an example. Jump to Google Ads, what you can then do is to go to keywords, change columns, and in change columns you can actually go down and choose the quality score metrics, and then add in quality score metrics to your data set. And what that does is that you get here. Can I draw with this? Yes. You can here get the campaigns, and then you get data on the quality score on each campaign. So you get the specific quality score, the expected CTR, landing page experience, and ad relevance. What you then do is download that data. Afterwards, you go to landing pages, and then you download that data as well. What you then have is two Excel sheets you put together with the different extracts. You have the keywords here, and then the first thing you do is to calculate the weighted average campaign quality score by what you would do. The first is timing the quality score with the impressions from the keyword data set. From that, you can actually calculate the weighted average quality score on a campaign level. So that means that you can understand on a campaign level what is the average weighted average quality score weighted for impressions. You can do that. You get the slides afterwards, and then you can try to debunk this formula. And then afterwards, you can remember to remove DSA and other stuff without quality score. And then what you can do is that you can actually calculate the weighted average quality score on a page level. And that means that you can understand the pages where you have the lowest quality score, and then you can start optimizing that. So from a SEM perspective, instead of just letting go of the traffic when they go to the website, you can start telling your clients or telling the content team that these are the pages you have to optimize to increase the landing page experience. And what you can do more is you can put in, so the staircase, you can kind of rewrite that to a Excel sheet like this, where you have the impact, that is the percentage, and then you can actually say, if we go from quality score 1 to 10, we should time our spend with 0.1. So this is the amount of savings you get. And that means you can then go again to your keyword set here, and then you can, on a landing page level, calculate the savings you can get from improving the quality score from the quality score it has to 10. And then from that, you can use this data to really prioritize what are the pages you are optimizing. Which content pieces which areas of the website should we be working with on-site wise, right? Does it make sense? Yes, good. All right. So next up is higher click-through rates, and so this is a study for a client. I think it's Nespresso or something like that. So we found out, and you can go into every single Google Ads account and see this data. That when we are visible not only on paid but also on organic, we get higher CTRs on our paid. So that means that we are not only affecting landing page experience with SEO, we are also affecting expected click-through rate. Because if we get a ranking, we would get higher click-through rates and thus, again, higher quality score. So that means we have to really, as SEO specialists, look into the data that we can get out of Google Ads, and then use that data to prioritize the pages and the content that we are working with, and the keywords. So this is a basic content map. I think it's for Quisma, our agency. So what we have is the URLs, the level, the status, and what we then put in is the quality score savings in our content map that we can make, and then use that to prioritize the pages we are optimizing. So instead of just rambling about building new blog posts or whatever, we use our time on the pages that create the most savings in quality score. And then another point is, this is Elgiganten. When I'm looking for a Lenovo computer, they have used the complete same communication in a Google Ads and in their titles and description. And you have to really work with building something unique, so that you can kind of collect people where they are in the funnel, right? So if they are just looking to buy a computer, they should get that opportunity. If they're just looking for an overview, which they try to target with this, they should be able to do that. So to differentiate the communication in the organic and in the paid part is crucial. Right. So the final stuff here is to create an aligned search strategy. So basically, when you have a keyword, it can place itself in these 3 different buckets. So you can have a keyword that is only visible on organic. You can have a keyword that is visible in paid and organic, and then you can have a keyword that is visible in only paid. So the thing here is that you might not want to invest in all keywords that are only visible in organic, because the keyword might be really early in the funnel, so it might provide you with a positive return on ad spend. So you might want not to be visible on both, but mostly you would want these 2 buckets to really be as aligned as possible, so that the keywords in the organic part. So that you find keywords in the organic part and discover, shouldn't I really try to invest in this keyword? We're already visible on organic. Let me also invest in it on paid, because I know when I'm visible on paid, I'll get a really good quality score, and thus I would pay less money for that keyword. So it's going to be very cheap for me. And also vice versa, when you are visible on a keyword in the paid part, maybe you should try to discuss whether you should also be visible on that keyword in the organic part. So using the data from your Google Ads to choose the keywords that you should invest ranking better for in the organic part. So how do you do that? First off, you need, and if not all of your clients, and not if your account is not linked, your Search Console data is not linked into your Google Ads, you're doing something wrong. And I can see a lot of our clients isn't, so it's not like we're perfect, right? But you really have to link your Search Console data into your Google Ads. It's super, super important if you want to create synergy, because otherwise you won't have the data that I'm showing you now, right? So you go into Tools, you go into Linked Accounts, and then you set up your Google Search account and link it to your Google Ads account, right? Next up is that you go to the standard report, the SEM SEO reporting, and here you can take the basic and then go to paid organic and download the data set. It looks like this. So here you have the different search terms, the different search results. So this is actually, here you have ad showed only. So the keyword had some impressions on where it was only showed with the ad. And it also down here had, this keyword has impressions with both shown. From this, you can then create a pivot. And that pivot should then bring out this data. So what you can use this for is that put in the campaigns in the row, put in the search results in the columns, and then on values put in first the impressions, and then below put in the clicks. Because what you can now see is that on a campaign level, what are the keyword groupings or the keyword groups where we get a lot of impressions on only paid, and we don't have the rankings on organic. And vice versa. In this case, this client don't have any organic visibility, so they are just paying for everything. But obviously, if you were pulling in some other data sources, you would also have a lot of keywords where you would only be visible on organic and not paying for it because it's either too high funnel or whatever. You can also see there is some categories where we are paying for some of the impressions, like this one, shop LT something, exact, where we're paying for 1,000 impressions, and on the both we are paying for 500 impressions. So there's going to be a lot of keywords in this group that we are paying for that we are not ranking for as of today, that we should be ranking for. And we can then go back to our data set here, locate those keywords, put it into our keyword research, put it into our content mapping, and start working on getting rankings for those specific keywords. All right. All right, and then there is a classic question in these SEM SEO synergy talks, that is, where should we be placing brand? I've had numerous clients asking me, so should we are ranking #1 on our brand, we shouldn't be paying for it, right? So should we put it in the mix where you're paying for it, or should you move it to pure organic? And there's only one answer here, and that is almost only one. Depends, but mostly you should always buy your branded search term, right? Because it gives you the possibility to dominate the SERP. It gives you the possibility to control your messaging, and it's very often cheap, and it lets you protect your brand. So always place the keyword in the mixture here. You can also see from this dataset that's what they've done. Right. So when you then create an integrated SEM SEO synergy strategy, that's a buzzword I've said to a client once, I guess. You would put in the funnel where you have, this is just a basic AIDA model, where you have typically in early funnel, you won't be paying for your clicks. There could be categories like guides. Later on, you might pay for some of the clicks. That would be a category like symptoms. And then the deeper you go in your funnel, the more you would pay for your clicks as well. So the integrated strategy would often be that top funnel, we are not going to pay for our keywords. And the deeper in the funnel, the lower funnel we get, the more we are going to invest. But in my opinion, it often makes good sense to also buy keywords top funnel if you're already ranking for them, because they are going to be so cheap. And if you're working on keywords top funnel from an SEO perspective, why won't you just then also pay for them? I mean, you invest in SEO for top funnel keywords, why then not also buy the keywords in Google Ads? Because if you can make a business on ranking for top funnel keywords from Google Ads, how could you then do it from organic? I mean, so it doesn't make sense if you work on top funnel keywords only from an organic point of view to not also work on those keywords from paid. But otherwise, if your budget is limited, and it often is, you should do it fill up from the bottom, right? Start paying for a brand, then go for products, then go for product categories, and then leave the rest for SEO. So really building a strategy that evolves around trying to figure out what categories are we paying for, and what categories should we just work for organic for, right? So this is a typical keyword research for a travel agency. So you have the keyword out here. You have the category or the categorization. Then you have an M volume. So that's basically just the keyword volume. But what you can actually do, because Google bulk keywords, is that you divide the volume with the amount of times that keyword has been bulked. Then you would get the exact specific volume on that keyword, instead of just the bulk, because otherwise when you sum a keyword research like this, it would get too many searches in that there's not in that market. So anyways, the volume, you have the competition, the efficiency of the keyword, the ranking, the expected CTR, our current traffic, and so on. What's important here is that the organic competition is not the same as the paid competition, because when you take this data set and you put it into a bubble diagram like this, where you look at your keyword universe, you see something like this, so this is for travel, as you can, by is city, land is country. What's really interesting here is that when you take the ad competition and profile it against the organic competition, you get a completely different view, because the competition in organic Google is completely different from the paid competition. And you can actually use the paid competition as a metric or proxy for how deep in the funnel is this keyword. So you can see when people when they're looking for travel, they would search very early in the funnel for country inspiration, right? So they would search for Thailand, or they would search for Singapore or something like that. That's not a city. It's both actually. How would you categorize that keyword? Oh, anyways, so you would see that people are researching really early. has those keywords there, they have a very low ad competition, which is obvious because when travel agencies, SEM specialists, PPC specialists, they buy keywords for ad agencies, they want to see bookings. They don't want to see branding. They want to give the client a high return on ad spend. And they don't get that for being visible early in the funnel. But that's but from an SEO perspective, we want to be visible in the whole funnel. So that's why we work on countries. So we try to get organic rankings for Thailand and Singapore. But you don't want to buy those keywords. But maybe you should. Because, that's what this is about. It's about laying the right strategy for your market. But before you can lay the right strategy, you have to understand the search landscape. And you can do that by not only finding the volume, but also finding the ad competition and the organic competition. And that's what this client paid us to do. Right? So what you can see is that City has a very high organic competition. That wouldn't be keywords I would go for. Because the organic competition in this case is very high. And when you actually search for Barcelona or Madrid, you get a lot of knowledge graphs, so you won't get that much traffic. While Last Minute has pretty low organic competition, a lot of searches, but a really high paid competition. So really trying to map this out to understand what are the keywords that I should be working with. Right, so let me see, do I have a sum up slide? No. To sum up, so basically what I've been trying to do is to inspire you on different things that you should be doing if you are a PPC specialist and if you are an SEO specialist. And I'm really tired of just talking about it instead of seeing people do it, because I've never seen any agency or any client side that really do this satisfactory. So really trying to, just the first step, putting your Search Console data into Google Ads, I can say, so we have like 200 clients, and it's like 30 of them that has done this, and I don't get it. Why don't we get our data fixed, and why don't we then start using it? Because that's really the next step. So, stop talking about it, stop being madmen, and then start being scientists about this, and then really utilize the data. I've showed you 3 different things, or 3 different ways you can use the data. I really hope you want to do it, and just please reach out to me if you want the formulas or want me to show it to you. Then the weighted average stuff, you can just reach out. You get the slides, take a look, and then hopefully I've inspired you to go out and make stuff instead of just talking. All right. That's the kind of the trouble about being just before lunch. I hope you got inspired. But thank you.
Definitely.